The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode.
Summer, summer, summer of 86 at 40.
Welcome back to the Brandon Peters Show in the summer of 1986 at 40. A look back at the wonderful films that populated theaters across the United States 40 years ago and the pop culture that surrounded them. And joining me, as always, from Puck News and the Outside Scoop, which this week is Straw Peel, a lovely scoop of our strawberry banana flavored ice cream in your choice of cup or cone. Scott Mendelson.
Hello.
And,
No.
All right. And from We
Yeah.
Live Entertainment, out now with Aaron and Abe, and two black guys talk Godzilla. He's glad to be here to tell us the secret of the smooze, Aaron Neuwirth.
I'm glad that Straw Peel's on the menu because now I remember all four movies we're talking about.
There we go.
Somehow that's the one I forgot.
Oddly enough, huh? All right, guys, we're back here. We're getting into June of 1986. This episode covers June 6th through 8th of 1986. Scott, we've been through this May, 1 month of 86. How are you feeling about this summer so far? You've been here for all these, so.
I am bemused by the ones we've already talked about and the ones that we will talk about, number of movies that are somewhat set in a plausible reality that nonetheless have anthropomorphic, entirely fully functioning robots.
Fair enough.
Which is odd.
Fair enough.
God, Short Circuit is so bad. Again, I never loved it, but I was shocked at how just empty it was.
Yeah. Aaron, how are you feeling about this?
But at this point in my young life in 86, I've had my bris, I've had my name celebrated or something along those lines. I think we have a temple at this point. So yeah, I'm full of life, that's for sure. As far as the movies go, I look forward to what's coming up.
Yeah, I feel like this may be the weakest start of
five
sure. of the. There's good stuff coming, folks. There is.
Yeah. But I mean, I know a lot of people love Top Gun more than we do.
Right?
So
yeah, but that's that is one of the highlights.
Hate Top Gun. It's just that's clearly one highlight of the 16 movies we've talked about so far.
And if I were to put my top 5 of the summer, it's nothing I feel really strongly about in any way. So it's kind of crazy.
True.
Yeah, there's nothing worth dying on a hill for so far. Scott doesn't have his House of Cards yet.
Still looking.
So
doesn't have his House of Cards. Well, this week gives us an option, I think, for sure. It's
you could be referring to any of the 4 movies.
You might be surprised about what I like this week.
And again, it's not that. Yeah, it just I don't know what anyone thinks about any of these. Obviously, I don't think anyone's going, "Oh my God, My Little Pony was the greatest thing ever." Nonetheless,
so let's talk about this for a second. So, obviously, when we get to the 90, when we get to 93, I mean, it's still before that period where the beginning of May was the real launch of summer. Movies. We got Dave and Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, but it's not 6 when Twister comes out, right? And that's kicking off.
Technically, 92 did it with Lethal Weapon 3, where that was very much intentionally as early in May as we can possibly get away with. Summer is starting, but yeah, it's not until 96 with Twister where you have the first weekend in May. This is the curtain raiser that, in some cases, many cases, will either outgross or somewhat overshadow the ordained Memorial Day weekend or pre-Memorial Day weekend box office champion. Twister, Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones, etc.
Becoming a default pick and having a couple weeks of runway to establish itself as you didn't see Twister yet? Yeah, go see that kind of thing.
Yeah, in June was reserved for more biggies than it would evolve into. June.
It would build up to 4th of July. And then you'd have your pick of these great movies that are all out around that time.
Yeah. Whereas nowadays, they're big movies in June nowadays, but it feels like the preordained, we're really putting this out there, doesn't come out in June. anymore. It's
Look,
May
it
or
feels like
July.
between like the 20th and like July 1st. That feels like there's some that's good territory for like
Mhm.
Spielberg generally comes out with like his summer movie like in that area. Like and Pixar will come out with their June
Right.
movie there,
To give
especially
it
in their prime. Especially they'll come out with the June
something
movie.
they hope plays till August. Yeah, basically.
Or you'll get
Yeah.
something like one of Scott's favorites, Wanted, will come out around there. So like it'll be.
We got in trouble on this podcast talking about Wanted a few years back, so we will.
What the Bekmetov Nazis came after you? Like what does that mean?
The Leonard Maltin fanatics who weren't present at the thing I was present at came with some pitchforks.
All right, I don't want to rehash that.
No, but
yeah, obviously, so things are evolving, but like right now in '86, we're like, yeah, all right, they just kind of released a couple of movies. Memorial Day had
it's no different. 82 was no different. I mean, we had there's a solid big year too. Like I think 82 did the big ones better because by 82 at this point we had Conan and we had Rocky, and we had a couple others. Like it was getting notable, but
82 you were either starting some notable franchises or you were sequelizing a couple of big franchises.
Yeah,
right?
Road Warrior was in there too. Yeah, in 82 in May, but they still waited till June for E.T. and Star Trek and stuff like that. But yeah, so without further ado, though, we are going to head on to the news. News. On June 2nd, New York City Transit System issues a new brass with steel bullseye token.
About time.
Or you can just jump the turnstile. One of the two. Yeah.
That's a crime, Brandon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Donnie's going to throw a snowball at you or something.
Tuesday, where I'm from. All right. June 2nd, also that day, regular TV coverage of U.S. Senate sessions begins.
Yeah.
When it used to be boring, and we now turn to C-SPAN with...
You mean when they didn't like interview sexual predators for 3 hours and say, "Hey, you're bad at this, right?" And they're like, "No, I'm not." And they say, "Yeah, you should go in anyway."
Right. Yeah. That sort of thing.
We vetted you.
On June 4th, Jonathan Pollard, a spy for Israel, pleads guilty in the United States court.
All right. Wait for that untitled Steven Spielberg project.
Doesn't pay to spy. On June 5th, San Diego Padres Steve Garvey.
Wait a minute. Declaration Day.
Oh.
That's it.
San Diego Padres Steve Garvey ejected for first time in his 16-year MLB career for arguing about Atlanta's triple play.
I thought it said Steve Harvey, and I was confused.
We can keep going.
Yep. June 6th, Jurgen Scholl sets a world discus record at 74.07 meters.
That poor guy in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
He went quick. He felt no pain.
It was a bird, like Randy Johnson when he
Randy Johnson.
The bird saved that man's life.
Yeah. As we all know, a discus would be stopped by a half a pound bird.
Right.
It softened the blow.
Yeah, you put the silencer on it.
And without the bird, it wouldn't have gone an extra 3 meters. So, it
was a rip shot.
Right. June 6th, Kathy Ormsby, a 21-year-old member of NC State track team, jumps off a bridge, permanently paralyzing herself.
Hurdles
get dangerous.
Sorry.
The hurdles got dangerous. I guess. I don't know. Like that's what it said. I'm like, I don't know if it was
like the track turn.
I didn't do my research on that one. I apologize, folks.
Right. To clarify, was she attempting suicide?
I don't know. I don't know if it was part of like a training. I don't know.
What is this woman's name?
Her name is Kathy Ormsby. Ormsby.
Okay.
And, Scott looks that up. On June 7th at the French Open Women's Tennis, Chris Evert beats Martina Navratilova 2-6, 6-3, and 6-3 for her 18th and final Grand Slam title and record 7th French singles crown. It's the most stereotypical of this era tennis match you could probably list.
Yes.
Those were two. If you weren't Andre Agassi, It was the or Arthur Ashe or something. It was like this was the like women's matchup of tennis. These are the top two names.
I guess so, because her name certainly remained popular. Like I never
Yeah.
like saw her play, but like I know that name, and I was like, oh, I guess she was done early.
Yeah.
My lifetime.
And if you remember, there was a New Orleans Saints quarterback named Chris Everett, and there was a moment on Jim Rome, the Shock Jock Sports Radio Talk show host, where his name was Jim Everett, and he kept calling him Chris, meaning the tennis player. And Jim Everett said, "You better stop calling me that. I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to knock you out." And he got up and pushed him over the chair, and it went to black. And everybody had to wonder, was it a stage thing? Was it real? This was in the 90s.
I have seen that clip.
Yeah. Scott.
Just for the record, I did look it up. Unfortunately, yeah, she was attempting suicide.
Oh, okay.
Apparently it was stress, pressure, too much, blah, blah, blah.
Gotcha.
So,
Oof.
not as funny as we were hoping. It wasn't a blooper.
Shame. Yeah. Well, if you get paralyzed, it's not a blooper anyway. So,
we should really just keep it.
Yeah, that's here we go.
Deaths
on June 8th.
Smash that subscribe button.
On June. Well, guys, it gets better. On June 8th, alleged Nazi Kurt Waldheim is
freed and becomes rich and famous.
Hilarious dynamite accident.
Freed and becomes rich and famous and runs for the GOP as now a senator.
Aaron?
I'm going to go for hilariously blown up in an accidental dynamite accident.
Elected president of Austria. Scott, you win.
Yes, I win the car.
What's he do? Deny the Holocaust or what? What's his deal?
Yeah. Nazis and Confederate soldiers can't say they don't do anything after the wars. You don't let them tell you won't be able to be something.
At some point, we're going to be like looking at Batman villains and be like, "You just tried to gas some people. That's it." Like, have you seen real life?
Outside, you tried to gas them. Like what? Yeah. On June 8th, Iraqi jets attack Asadabad satellite station in Afghanistan. And
So are we with or opposed to Iraq at this point in time? Because I'm kind of confused.
This is 1986, and I believe we were on the side of Afghanistan at this time.
Okay,
yeah,
because
I saw Charlie Wilson's War.
Yeah,
that's right. They were waiting for Rambo to
Rambo and James
Bond.
Yeah, Rambo and James Bond assisted Afghanistan during this.
All I know is that when it comes to turkey, the Chinese don't like it.
All right, and then lastly, on June 8th, the longest 9-inning American League Baseball game, which was 4 hours and 16 minutes, ended as the Baltimore Orioles,
as games usually do,
beat the New York Yankees 18-9.
Okay.
No extra innings. It was just an ass whooping.
They just kept. It was this whole stop it.
They were probably getting people from the stands to pitch. Like at that point,
you take over. I gotta get a hot dog.
You could throw a pitch to Don Mattingly.
Just for the record, before we get into the movies, I think it's very important to know that this podcast does in fact support and respect the brave Mujahideen freedom fighters of Afghanistan.
Did Chris Hemsworth help them in the movie, or what was that going
on? Okay, our deaths this week. Hockey player Aurel Joliat, composer Daniel Sternfield, actress Anna Nagel, Arthur Charles Ernest Horay, a composer, Patricia Wheel, actress, and writer Herbert Eisenreich. We have 2 weddings this week. Bob Dylan, at age 45, weds his backup singer Carolyn Dennis, who is how old? Scott?
Oh, probably like 17.
Aaron?
23.
32. So he switched the digits, Aaron.
Good for him, I guess.
Not bad.
Hey.
Yeah, could have been worse. Their happy marriage lasts until 1992 when they divorce. And then
6 years.
Air Supply guitarist Graham Russell weds fan Jody Varble. Congrats to Jody.
He just looked at the crowd and said, "That one."
Your music changed me. I'm gonna change it even more.
He's like, "Well, the boss picked on Courtney Cox. I'm just gonna marry a fan. How about that?"
Yeah, I'm gonna marry one. All right. So now birthdays this day. We have R&B singer ZZ Ward, actor Josh Segarra,
Yeah.
tennis player Rafael Nadal, NBA player Al Horford, ice skater Thomas Werner, Skip Marley, singer, actress Amanda Crew, actress Bhavana Balachandran, Keegan Bradley, the golfer, and actress Una Chaplin from Avatar.
Hey,
Fire and Ash,
a
everyone's
potent
favorite
mix.
character. So it was a potent mix.
Potent mix.
Potent mix. So we will head to our first movie, playing in 421 theaters this week. The first time there would be one of these titled this, My Little Pony, the movie.
My Little Pony.
It's the comedy adventure you've been waiting for. My Little Pony, the movie. What happens when 3 evil witches try to destroy Ponyland with ugly purple smooths? Can Megan and her brother Danny help the ponies stop the witches? My Little Pony stars Danny DeVito as the Grundle King, Madeline Kahn and Rhea Perlman as the Witch Sisters, Cloris Leachman as their mother Hydia, and Tony Randall as the Moo Chick. You'll love My Little Pony, the movie. It's rated G and it opens at theaters everywhere the Friday after school's out.
Directed. Bear with me here.
Go on.
Mostly credited to Mike Jones, who is a storyboard artist turned director and would go on to produce and direct straight-to-video Christian programming like McGee and Me in the 90s. Also directed by Jerry Cinque, Ray Lee, Akinori Matsubara, Margaret Nichols, Hang Sun Oh, Karen Peterson, Tom Ray, Robert Shellhorn, Greg Vanzo, and Gwen Wetzler.
The Great Gonzo was one of those names.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, that's to bring this world to magic. Those people had to direct. It was written by George Arthur Bloom, who also wrote for Transformers and Glow, GLO, as well as one episode of USA Up All Night. Just one. Mm-hmm. With story consulting coming from Roger Slipher, who created the character of Lobo, and writes a lot of known cartoons and winds up a story consultant on Transformers the movie and G.I. Joe the movie at this time. So, hot item. And Buzz Dixon, who he wrote for cartoons including Batman the Animated Series, the episode Catch Scratch Fever. And My Little Pony is created by Bonnie Zachary. This movie stars Danny DeVito, Madeline Kahn, Cloris Leachman, Rhea Perlman, Tony Randall, Susan Blue, Nancy Cartwright, Peter Cullen, and Frank Welker. Ponyland comes under attack from the Smooths, a massive purple ooze created by an evil witch who plans to destroy the ponies' annual spring festival. Some notes on this movie, interestingly enough. The box office failure of this movie plus Transformers, which comes later this summer, moved the G.I. Joe movie to be straight to video and canceled plans for the Gem and the Holograms movie. There was a cameo.
Gem can't catch a break.
Yeah, she always gets it the hardest.
The cameo. There were cameos pitched for this movie from Optimus Prime and Shipwreck from G.I. Joe.
Would have fit right in.
Rejected.
Yeah.
This was.
I mean, I'm trying not to be a snob about these things, but how the fuck would that have worked?
Quick, shove the smooze into my chest.
Right.
No sacrifice, no victory.
This movie was animated start to finish in 10 weeks.
Okay,
And,
that's impressive, actually.
Right. It was composed by Robert J. Walsh, who had done Revenge of the Ninja prior to this, and would go on to score G.I. Joe the movie and Leprechaun.
Obviously.
So
Jennifer Aniston's old Jewish nose. Yay!
This is the first film produced by Marvel Productions, which would later be renamed Marvel Animation. So quality here. Aaron, let's start out with why this is the best surprise of the summer for you. And you bought like 8 My Little Pony DVDs to start catching up after.
Is Aaron a brony at heart?
You got to know I'm not. So, and I know there are people that are, and I have nothing against them, obviously. It's just not a thing that's been like my bag. So I thought maybe this is the opportunity for me to see what the appeal is when it comes to My Little Pony. So I was like willing to watch this and sit down and get
Open mind, open mind.
open mind, get a
Yeah.
handle on the lore and what have you. Try to attach myself to some of these characters that I assume have to have some kind of iconicism to them. And I gotta say, pretty much none of it worked for me. I it's not as though like I was averse to watching this or try to take in what it was doing. I'm not even like mad at it. I just I don't, and I'm not gonna say I don't get it. I just don't like. It feels like I'm oil to its water. It just flew right off me. Like I don't. I'm not this person. This is just not the world for me. From an animation movie standpoint, their songs, it kind of like was able to build some momentum every now and again. It had it's an impressive cast in terms of when you say those names out loud, you're like, oh, that's an impressive cast. In terms of what they're bringing to this movie, not a lot. um, I couldn't tell you a whole lot about what actually happened beyond, yes, there were ponies and good things, and then there's a bad thing, and they tried to attack the good things, and they sang and worked out some plans, and everything resolved itself. But the intriguing factor of being in a world of My Little Ponies, I didn't find that spark that clearly has, unified a lot of other people to have continual celebrations of this world and enough to keep the series going in its own way, whether it's through, I assume, series or other movies, or I have to imagine games and trading cards and comics and things like that too, I guess. I have no idea what
Figures, I think.
figures for sure. But yeah, the expanded universe, that's all beyond me. But yeah, like by default, it's kind of one of the worst things I've seen this summer so far, but not because I like have animosity towards it, just because I have nothing for this. So there.
All right. Scott.
Well, for the record, I completely sympathize with Aaron because, I was making the joke about bronies, and that's mostly in reference to the 2010 to 2019 revival called My
Yeah.
Little Pony Friendship is Magic, which,
Mhm.
yes, is a hell of a lot better than this. And as much as I don't want to just, oh, this My Little Pony movie is stupid, bleh. But, this was during a time where a lot of these shows were intended to sell toys, and the people that made them will tell you that there was a certain no, 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 don't try too hard, just do enough to get by. Stop it. You're going to make it worse for the rest of us. Um, and that doesn't mean there wasn't good stuff intermingled with whatever. I think Shira as a show is shockingly well written in terms of, I know this is a silly thing to say, but Andor for kids, in terms of, it really does deal with living under, well, Trump's America, if we're being honest, circa 2026, but in a very G-rated sense. Which is why I always comparatively found that slightly more engaging than He-Man, which is where the side of good has power and they're fending off the bad guys that are trying to invade the castle, so to speak. But anyway, this movie is exactly what's on the tin or on the poster, but it offers nothing to those not already interested. And I could joke and say it's no Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer, but objectively, that's correct. I'm not saying that's a particularly good movie, but at least it's like, oh, okay, this is a little psychedelic. It's a little whatever. Um, this is, and even like the 2017 My Little Pony movie, which was, if I recall, in the Friendship is Magic universe, if you will. Again, it's not spectacular, but certainly, it has 20 some years better, 30 years better animation. And Emily Blunt sings. Um, she's the villain in that, and it's a better movie just on a surface level entertainment value. This is just again, it's made like do as little as possible to get it done because the audience doesn't need to be anything more than temporarily pacified. Um, and the irony is, I might argue, if I may get navel gazing for a second, that that mentality has kind of come full circle in terms of a lot of the franchise film slash television stuff that has come out. Like when you get something like Craven or Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim, there's a certain, yeah, whatever. Jeremy's not here, so I don't know how to say it. Um, sorry, inside joke. Where there's a certain like the fans will accept less because they're the fans of the thing. Ergo, this IP specific thing can get away with being almost willfully worse than if it were just a movie and it had to justify itself on its own terms, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I will say the one scene that really got to me is the scene about the end of the first act when baby Lickety Split sustains fatal injuries, and before she passes away, she pledges that one day a pony will rise from the ranks and use the power of the all matrix to light our darkest hour. And then she says, crying, until the day we are one, and then turns to gray and dies. And if you didn't cry during that scene, I don't want to know you. But other than that, this is a waste of time.
Yeah, it's something to put in front of the kids for a bit, sell toys, and making no mistake about it. I actually seen this movie before back when it came out because like I think my cousin rented it or something. And I saw the Care Bears one too that came out around the same. But like I would think about this watching, I'm like, are the Care Bears, Smurfs, and My Little Pony interchangeable? Like if you just
Yes.
change the skins on
Very
them
much
to
so.
the other things, like they're the same thing. And
This
it's
is kind of shocking in retrospect, and then I'll shut up because I interrupted you. I apologize. But to a certain extent, one of the reasons that the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon stood out in the late 80s is it was one of the first cartoons where like the heroes had very distinct personalities, where they
Yeah.
weren't just all, again, we all love Justice League because of nostalgia, blah, 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 or Super Friends because of nostalgia, but they're all fucking the same thing. I mean, there's no real
Yeah,
difference
not
between
one
Yeah.
of them is a
Batman
party
and
dude,
Superman.
and the other one
Yeah,
doesn't do
exactly.
machines.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I think
Leonardo,
Riddler is
that
the
guy
one.
leads.
Yes, but the Riddler is a party dude. Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, like
Um,
Aquaman didn't have tude, or wasn't rude, but cool. So
Right, no.
now he is though.
uh,
That's the new Aquaman.
but yes,
When the
to answer
evil Joker attacks,
you,
there's Justice
he's
League.
Justice dudes. Don't cut him no slack.
Gasp!
Oh, yeah,
So no, yeah, this movie's not like I was interested in just like I was trying to watch it, but like keep attention and find things for myself to just like, but like I didn't remember My Little Ponies having witches being the enemies. And I'm like, okay, these are neat for a sec. Like just the introduction of the thing is neat, and there's the old man, but it's like this is all nothing, and it's okay for kids to have this bullshit nothing stuff. Um, it's where I come down like this isn't for me. I'm way too old for it. It's never going to entertain me. But like a kid in the '80s, this was probably going to entertain for a bit, but they didn't care. There was just more My Little Pony for a bit, and I don't know where this hardcore fandom comes from on it. Seeing it,
the the 2010 version.
the 2010 version.
Yeah.
So yeah, this original, the art is like neat for a second. I didn't give a shit about the voice actors doing stuff. And if you're a person who thinks that big celebrities were taking voice acting jobs recently, no, they've always been putting them in there because it's a wild list of people kids love as voice actors. Tony Randall, all the '80s kids were like, yes. Oh, they've got Rhea Perlman for Cloris Leachman for My Little Pony. It's just kind of wild how they come together.
Well,
But this,
and there's another movie we'll be talking about soon where I imagine kids all over America were like, Touch of Evil's Orson Welles?
yes.
Yeah.
And Orson Welles. That movie, we'll get to that movie. That is like the opposite of what we got here for a movie,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. But yeah, 10 weeks, not surprised. took to animate it. I watched this movie back when it came out and couldn't tell you a damn thing about it. And I am like 1 week out from having watched it, and my brain has already like just moved on from My Little Pony the movie. Like it's just, I remember things and then probably as much as a kid. Remember. I don't feel like this movie would touch them. Like I don't know because it's My Little Pony's kind of junk, but like I don't remember anything about Care Bears. I do remember Transformers, and I do remember some. So I wasn't even a G.I. Joe fan, and I remember some of that movie a bit. But like, maybe kill off some of your fucking ponies and make kids cry.
Slit their damn throats, Brandon Peters.
Yeah, fucking make glue out of one of them. Make glue out of one of them.
Yes, the world needs more glue.
Kids leg caught in a bear trap, and watch the smooth climb over
the smooth. Yeah,
helpless body and absorb its skin, so it's just muscles on the ground, bleeding and yelling for its life.
Yeah. Purple Smooths. They should have had Ivan Smooths in there with everything.
The ponies are the real monsters.
Voiced by Paul Freeman.
Voiced by Paul Freeman, yes.
Poor bastard.
Oh, okay. Well, just like on My Little Pony, the TV show, we shall also take an ad break.
Have you ever been frustrated because the Noid ruined your pizza?
Oh, fuck the Noid.
Noid loves to ruin pizza.
I hate the Noid worse than Gabbo.
Pizza.
Noid killed my father.
Uh-oh.
Damn that Noid.
We keep the
Gotta avoid him.
And all this quality.
So they're advertising the fact that their boxes are strong?
Those pizza delivers.
Is that what we're doing?
I am obviously familiar with that character from a long time ago.
Yeah,
when I was a very different man. That being said, what was the point of that? I mean, as a character concept, was he like?
He tried to steal your pizza, yeah,
but he couldn't get through the patented boxes of Domino's.
Yeah, he tried to screw up pizza. He had a video game made of him. He was that popular.
Oh yeah,
sure did. The Noid.
And you know when you put up, down, left, right, A, B, start, nothing happened.
I wonder if it was more successful than the Caveman TV series.
I mean, like maybe
starring Nick Kroll.
They went all. I mean, they had this character they could market to some degrees and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
I like the stop motion. 7-Up, yep.
With the spot.
That was actually a good game.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good game.
That was awesome. Yeah,
because Genesis rocked. They knew how to make games.
Yeah. I had it on Nintendo. Nintendo. Yeah.
Super NES for the win.
I had a Nintendo.
We like our Mortal Kombat with sweat.
Yeah, you could get the cool Mortal Kombat.
Yep, we could. You have a sweat. Yep. Oh, it was like when there the blood. There was a code where you could make the sweat red.
Yeah, there was a for that.
Wasn't quite blood, but it was sweat. With
red. I hope the Mortal Kombat 2, which will be out by the time this podcast arrives, has a sweat version in the theaters as well.
I hope so. I paid ticket for Sweat.
Yeah, that's the 1 o'clock show.
Oh, you do sweat when you work out while you're training at Spacecamp, playing in 979 theaters.
They came to Spacecamp with a dream of becoming astronauts.
I want to be the first female shuttle commander.
Suddenly, without warning,
we have overheat on Booster B.
America's most unlikely heroes were launched into space.
Do it.
Spacecamp, the sneak preview. This summer's greatest adventure is about to begin. Rated PG. Special sneak preview Saturday, May 31st.
Directed by Harry Weiner.
Good one, Brandon.
He of the what?
Good one.
Good one. He of the Legend of Bigfoot, and he goes after this goes into a TV career doing Party of Five, Dawson's Creek, Alias, Felicity, and Veronica Mars. Written by Clifford Green, who goes on to do The Seventh Sign and Bless the Child. Also written by Casey T. Mitchell, on a story by Patrick Bailey and Larry B. Williams, who created Friday the 13th, the series. This movie stars Kate Capshaw, Lea Thompson, Kelly Preston, Larry B. Scott, Leaf Phoenix.
Don't call him a Joaquin. He's been Leaf for years.
Yeah. Tate Donovan, Tom Skerritt, and Terry O'Quinn. And if you look at the scene in the launch control gallery, you'll see a young Pamela Adlon. The young attendees of Space Camp find themselves in space for a real go of it when their shuttle is accidentally launched into orbit. This one, if you close your eyes and listen to 2 seconds of this movie, you'll know it's scored by John Williams. Shot by William Fraker, who shot Rosemary's Baby, Bullet, Paint Your Wagon, Gator, Exorcist 2, Heaven Can Wait, 1941, Sharky's Machine, Baby Boom, The Freshman Members of an Invisible Man, Honeymoon Vegas, Tombstone Island, Doc Moreau, Vegas Vacation. And Aaron wanted me to mention that he shot Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, damn right. It's better than many of the movies you mentioned.
Okay, before we start on this one of the central aspects to the Summer of series since the start has always been like context. My mission statement when creating it is what was going on in the lives of people when they went to see like Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan that weekend. And importantly, just jumping into something like Space Camp or lining it up on the weekend of release seems all fun and harmless. But in 1986, this movie came with a hefty baggage. It's the second release date of the movie, as it was originally planned to come out earlier in the year. However, on January 28th, 1986, the entire populace gathered, watched at home, at work, or at school as the Challenger spacecraft exploded 74 seconds after launch, taking the lives of all 7 astronauts on board. A conflict at the center of this movie was a malfunction of a solid rocket booster, which mirrored the real-life Challenger incidentally, and gave a dark cloud over the film, which makes me think also, why were they showing the right stuff on TV in this calendar year even? You know, like just, were they trying to build? Like, I don't know. But, yeah, so that's a little, this harmless, Space Camp. Not so much when it came out. So, Scott, tell us about Space Camp.
Well, everything you've said is, of course, correct. And obviously, this film's commercial reception was basically heavily compromised by the circumstances of its release. But I do remember that, and I don't mean to make myself sound hoity-toity here, but I was 6 years old. I don't know if I don't think I watched it live, but I was certainly aware of what had occurred moments after it occurred. And I certainly saw bits and pieces on the, the extent that it was shown on the news afterwards. And yet 6-year-old me was entirely able to see this in a theater and compartmentalize this fantasy coming of age adventure story with a robot, which, if I'm not mistaken, we watched this one a while ago because my wife really likes it. But the robot's the reason why things go awry, right? So it's not even like, realistic science fucking up. It's a robot accidentally sabotages things, which makes it even less like the real world. And so it's sort of like, I have constantly been baffled by people that can't seem to differentiate and or compartmentalize. It's like, no, Die Hard with a Vengeance has nothing to do with the Oklahoma City bombing. Or like, the blockbusters of summer 2013 were not going to be, and they weren't, inversely impacted by the Boston Marathon bombing that took place in early April of 2013. Sensitivity notwithstanding, if a movie is going to be successful of its own accord, people are going to show up regardless. So I'm sort of befuddled, including Roger Ebert's review, subjective critical opinion, blah, 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 where basically much of his displeasure is
he thinks it's a poor taste.
Viewing this film in light of the Challenger explosion. And I did not understand that reaction then, and I still don't in most circumstances. That being said, having rewatched the movie, I've seen this one periodically over the years. Again, Wendy really likes it. I think it's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have nits to be picked, including the robot, but I guess that's just the cost of doing business in the mid-'80s. But it's a really good coming-of-age story that feels plausible. The science feels practical. and the cast is fleshed out just enough, the adults and the kids. One thing I do like, it's one of the few movies, especially when aimed at kids, where like the arc isn't that the girl isn't being taken seriously because she's a girl and she has to prove herself as being as good as the boys or better. No, it's that she thinks she's too good and she needs to have her well-meaning female superior officer say, look, if you overestimate your own talents, you're going to be less than useful. And of course, the big, character payoff is when she does what she's good at and lets somebody else be the captain or something of that nature in the film's climax. And again, that shouldn't be unusual, where again, there are two female cast members in this 4 or 5 person kid ensemble, and there's like almost no romance other than like random glances and acknowledgments of that these are, attractive young men and women.
They're all waiting for Leaf to grow up.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And so again, it's sort of like, and again, they're wildly different movies, but when I think of something like Free Willy, it's okay, you have the goofy eye concept that gets everybody in the theater and gets everybody cheering at the end, but because you can't afford to just have that, you need to spend the time making characters that are engaging, a story that is engrossing, and a movie that works before the thing you came to see actually happens. Because it's always kind of surprises me when I watch this. It's about 105-minute movie, give or take, and they don't go into space until the end of the second act. That's almost like the climax of the movie. So the movie has to work on its own terms before that happens. And I will argue that it does. And again, I'm not saying it's some 4-star masterpiece of the era, but I do think on its own terms, it's just a solid movie. And I think it's kind of funny, having seen Contact 10,000 times, the idea of, Tom Skerritt being the one to say, maybe I'll go up instead. It's like, no. But anyway, the context of the controversy surrounding its release was understandable, but I do think it is an issue with society overall that it's almost considered a bad thing to be able to disassociate art from life, even when you should. And I think in a vacuum, this is just solid, kid-friendly, intelligent, thoughtful science fiction fantasy.
Yeah. Aaron.
So I never saw Spacecamp growing up, and obviously I'm born in '86, so I don't have I just found to know about the Challenger after the fact. Yeah, I've always known about this one without actually ever having seen it. So this is the first time I actually watched Spacecamp. I feel like I'm fairly known for being pretty, I don't want to say mean, but pretty, I don't care much about a lot of '80s or early '90s kids' favorites. There's ones I think are actually good, but there's others where I think they're bad and they're always bad, and therefore, like, I'm not gonna like grade it on a curve because I watched it when I was young or something. It's like, no, this is just a bad movie. I knew that when I was young. I knew that when it was now. So watching this, I was curious because I'm like, what am I gonna see here from a non-nostalgic point of view, just objectively watching, obviously it's my subjective opinion, but just like watching this without any kind of frame of context, nothing about the Challenger, nothing about the past memory I might have had watching this movie, just straight up watch this because I'm watching it. This is my favorite movie I've seen so far in this series. I thought this was pretty great, and I'm very surprised that I felt that way. Yes, a lot of it comes down to the fact that John Williams' music just does the fucking best stuff for you emotionally. And that's a huge part of why this movie works. It's not a cheat because that's the movie. Like, it's not like I listened to E.T. while watching it. I was like, no, that's the score of the film. Like, so that works. The cast is genuinely fun. They feel like kids in a kids movie doing things that have stakes and are grounded in just enough of a way to make you not forget the wonder of the situation, but still like work as far as a semi-plausible way to do like an adventure story like this. I genuinely like everybody in this cast. Like no one like feels like the annoying one or like one that stands out or whatnot. I always liked Tate Donovan, so like this is clearly an attempt to be like, hey, he's going to be our next guy, and
he's not an asshole.
He has his he's not he has his share of things in the '80s, and obviously he's on like the OC eventually or whatnot. But like you can clearly see like supposedly ramping up to something here, and it doesn't just it doesn't become a superstar or anything. But he's
Mhm.
he works here along with who doesn't like Lea Thompson. We're gonna see more of her this summer. Um, Kate Capshaw, I quite liked here. I haven't seen a lot of like other Kate Capshaw movies
Right.
outside of Temple of Doom. So like the chance to see her in something else is always like intriguing to me. And I think she did well as a the superior officer, the one in charge essentially.
The old one.
And I also appreciated that they don't forget the fact that she's from the South. Like she has an accent. Like she's not just like straight-laced government or whatever. He's like, no, she's
Yeah.
a person with a personality and like an actual backstory. But yeah, the effects look as good as they need to for a 1986 kids movie about space.
Yeah.
I like what the plot is as far as once they get into space, like what the dilemma is for how to get them back out of space. I like how that plays out. A little Tom Skerritt goes a long way, so having Tom Skerritt as a constant presence here, much like in Top Gun, I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm not against this at all.
Supported by Terry O'Quinn.
And yeah, have Terry O'Quinn, who's like first billed in the credits, to be like, and Terry O'Quinn. I'm like, okay, thanks. The stepfather will return. Like, I don't know.
The stepfather will return in Spacecamp.
I like that Tom Skerritt's like, say, John, what do you got there? Wait, who am I now? Who am I supposed to be right now? Puts a hammer down. Yeah, no, I had a really good time with this movie. I was like, I always want to like these. I wanted to like My Little Pony. I wanted to be like, there's something there. That's fine. It just didn't work. But like this, I'm like, I don't know what to think. And I got into it. I like the setup. I like Scott, you said, the fact that we spent a lot of time just like in the training and being in the world of these kids before like the big thing happens. Which I didn't even read the synopsis. I just knew it was called Spacecamp and it had these people in it. I didn't know they were going to go to fucking space. Like I
Actually
didn't know
went.
Wow. Like, so I was like genuinely excited about okay, they're actually going to go to space. Like, what's this going to go? How's that going to look? And like they pull off the zero G stuff really well. Like, no, I really like. There are some heavy hitters coming up that obviously I love. So like, it's going to get knocked out a few pegs. But I'm happy to put this at the top of the list right now. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I had never seen it either, and I liked it as well. I'd always knew of Spacecamp, but I was like, all right, it's made some.
I'd rather go to Spacecamp than watch Spacecamp.
I live Spacecamp, so yeah, it's amazing what like John Williams just like he's the MVP of this movie. I know there's a lot of praise to go around, but you just like are sucked in, and there's something with John Williams and the backdrop of stars that just does wonders. Like E.T., Star Wars, that like this movie has a score that's way better than it deserves. Like that's kind of what's going here. And I like this cast a lot. They gel quite well together. They don't treat Leaf as like there's a situation where Leaf in a movie where Leaf could be an annoying character or all these sorts of things. Like they treat him like a certain way, but he fits in really well, better than a lot of kids. The younger cast member would fit in with older teens and stuff. And Lea Thompson, always enjoyable. And I gotta say, props to her. Like she went through the 80s with ups and downs in terms of quality and hits and came out good and wound up, turning to TV, having a hit show for years and years. But like,
I can't think of a single bad movie she'd have been a part of, especially this year. You sound like a crazy person right now.
Quality, personal quality notwithstanding, going off consensus things. But like, yeah, so it's really interesting. She makes it in a way that like, we were just, as this just recorded a Breakfast Club commentary, she's able to bounce up and down in a way Ali Sheedy and Molly Ringwald did not. She, granted, she moves to TV, which is the sign of the aging performer back in the day would be like, well, I guess it's my time to go to the telly.
I believe before Lea Thompson got her show, they were going to call it Sheedy and the Seedy. But
yes, yep, that's that's exactly right.
Yeah, they turned it a different way.
I do wonder, and I'm just spitballing here because it's was one reason why Thompson was able to endure is that she wasn't quite as pigeonholed and typecast as sort of a teen dream romantic lead.
Yeah. I mean, she does. Some Kind of Wonderful puts her at that. a bit.
She has her share of like.
Sorry, I forget she's in that.
Yeah.
She has her share of like raunchy teen comedies. I mean, like she's not hard.
I guess for me at least, she always felt less defined by those than say Ali Sheedy in the John Hughes pictures that we, that's.
I mean,
yeah,
her,
it's neither good nor bad or whatever.
Her
And maybe
hits-
it's just because she also had Back to the Future.
Back to
which sort of-
Future, and like, I mean, we all can be like, "Oof, Red Dawn," but that was pretty well liked back then. I think, yeah. But
And just having a good head on your shoulders and being a good person, I think, pays off
Yeah.
a lot of times too. Like
True,
she marries Howard Dutch. They're just
Yeah.
happy. She accepts roles where they come to her.
Mhm.
People genuinely like seeing her.
they like working with her and stuff. Yeah, she's quite.
Caroline in the City was pretty good.
Yeah,
as far
no,
as,
I watched it back in the day. Yeah,
I mean, I watched it, and I imagine the residuals are enough
between that and the trilogy that is Back to the Future.
Oh yeah,
and being married to Howard Dutch, like that's worked out. I think.
very true. Very
who's
true.
she married to?
Howard Dutch,
the director of Pretty
in Pink.
Yep.
And
Some Kind of Wonderful.
It's Some Kind of Wonderful. A number of various comedies.
No, I'm sorry. Your name's Howard Dutch.
It looks like Deutsch.
Oh, Dutch. I keep thinking you're thinking of Howard the Duck, which was very confusing to me.
Howard the Dutch.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Howard the
Just
Dutch.
checking.
Yeah.
And they'd go on to spawn a Zoe the Dutch.
Yes. So no, but the movie it has good enough. It has good visual effects, and I think they legitimately set up a really good suspenseful sequence toward the end to finish it out. Like, and I like this, and like Tate Donovan, fun stuff. Like, oh, how if Spacecamp would have been more popular in this time, maybe he spurns off to more stuff. But like, I always know him as playing like smarmy assholes as an adult. In the where see that because he went on 24 too, didn't he? I think first season. Yeah.
What was he on 24?
Gosh, it was one of the later seasons.
I don't not believe you. I'm just trying to think of who because I think he goes back and forth.
Mark Boudreau.
Yeah, he was the chief of staff during one of the
Live Another Day. Yeah.
Oh, that's why it's that. Okay, and he's probably one of those guys that just disagrees by default because he has to.
Yes.
Right.
I know what you're saying because yes, he has played his share of like those guys. He's that in Crime 101 right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like he also does go the other side as well. Like he's fairly sympathetic in the OC as like the bum dad of Melissa or whatever, and Love Potion #9. He's like like there's like. They throw him all over the place. Like, that's being a character actor, I guess. I suppose.
I'm not the super fan you are, so that this has been my.
I mean, I took down my Tate Donovan poster, so I didn't want to like seem like I was biased here, but
T-Don. That's what, yeah. But no, Space Camp's a really fun movie. Like it's. I was like, I went into this being like, I'm sure this is okay, and I was like, oh, I really do like this.
Job,
I really do like this.
Yeah. I mean,
I want these characters to live. I want them to get back to Earth and not blow up in the atmosphere.
I wasn't rooting for the hellish confines of space.
Suck them up in the vacuum.
Even the kids, like I like that there's not like drama between them. There's bickering, but there's not like an inherent hatred because someone got my spot or romantic tension that's dumb or like everything involving Tate Donovan could be played as like he's the bully or he's sexist or any number of things. Instead, he's pretty encouraging for most of the movie. Like if anything, he's kind of not necessarily the heart, but he's certainly the guy that sort of helps things stay together as opposed to encourages things to fall apart. Like which is just seems like such the opposite of like what other movies like this could do. So
and he's more the tough love but encouraging big brother trope.
Because he want to be there, and then he's like has to learn to want to enjoy space camps.
Yeah, but you are absolutely. Obviously, again, they're wildly different movies, but it was the same way I felt during Free Willy, which was a movie. I had seen Space Camp many times before, but it had been ages since. But it's like I am aware of this movie. I know what happens at the end. It's like, holy shit, this is actually a really good movie in its own merits.
Right. Free Willy, part of the summer of '93 at 30, now playing anywhere podcasts are found from the Brandon Peters Show.
Oh me,
like a river Jordan.
Oh man, do you think we'll get some of that in Michael?
Maybe Michael Part 2.
Free Willy.
We'll know by now.
Yeah, we will know by now. We will know if Annie is okay. Anyway, so
come on.
Speaking of controversial,
it's just human nature.
All right, you PYT.
Hey, you try to be starting something? Look, I'll stop. Because I've had enough.
Okay. Like the girl, this podcast is mine. We're moving on to the TV ratings.
Tuesday.
I'm a detective. Okay, you're on, Mr. Addison.
When Dave helps a perfect stranger, he becomes a perfect gentleman.
Guess you can't blow your nose on these babies, huh?
They make a perfect couple.
Take me, hold me, use me, abuse me.
That's very nice, David.
On moonlighting. And when a dirty cop thinks he runs the streets,
I'm going to be watching you, Officer Clayton.
it's time to shake up the system.
Easy, man. It's been through a rough night.
It's gonna get a lot rougher.
Spencer for hire. Tomorrow.
Speaking of figures with wonderful non-controversial history, guess what's number one again on TV this week?
Cosby?
Mr. Pudding Pop.
Repeat of Cosby Show on NBC.
I can rock with that.
It's a very repeat-heavy week. Repeat of Family Ties is number 2 on NBC. Repeat of Night Court's number 3 on NBC. Murder, She Wrote, a repeat on CBS is number 4. Growing Pains repeat, number 5 on ABC. On NBC, number 6. Golden Girls, a repeat. Number 7 on ABC, a Who's the Boss repeat. Oh, we have a new show. It's called All Is Forgiven on NBC. Does anybody remember All Is Forgiven? Aaron, were you watching that back in 86?
When I watched that back in 86, what is it, like a court show?
All Is Forgiven. This is a, let's see here. It ran for 9 episodes, so it doesn't make it past this season. It's about Paula Russell, a newly married and newly appointed producer of a TV show, must balance demands of her work and personal life. I think we talked about this one, maybe. It's got, it's the one with Bess Armstrong, Terrence Knox, David Allen Greer.
Yeah,
but it's not going to get picked. It must drop like a rock after this because it's finishing, but it's also getting beat by reruns. Number 9, the NBA Finals Game 6. Boston Celtics beat the Houston Rockets 114-97 as Boston wins the series 4-2 and wins the NBA Finals. This is Larry Bird's third and final championship in the NBA. The second time they beat Houston for it as well. So congrats to Larry,
Boston.
Legend. And then number 10, repeat of Moonlighting on ABC.
Hey.
Sunday night on ABC, they aired Prince of the City Part 1.
These 3-hour movies they're showing. It's funny.
You get 2 nights out of them, right?
Yeah, you get the ratings. Let's see how dirty Treat Williams is in the second part here.
Right. That doesn't
The
seem like a
ABC,
movie.
Walt Disney Presents.
Well, it's funny. It doesn't seem like a movie you'd see on like network TV, but here we are in 1986. And then Sunday on NBC, they showed Bronco Billy, the 1980 Clint Eastwood film.
Okay.
It's funny because, I mean, Prince of the City is the kind of thing that I would expect to see like on TNT in the afternoon because it takes up like most of the day.
Or HBO, like
it's summer. So, I mean, they have no programming.
Right, yeah. You get 2 nights of Prince of the City, don't have to think of anything else. So the TV, made for TV movies this week, NBC did a rerun of 1984's No Man's Land, starring Stella Stevens, Terry Garber, Donna Dixon, Estelle Getty, Sam Jones, and John Rhys Davies.
Sounds hot.
Yep. CBS on Friday did a rerun of Deadly Encounter from 1982, starring Larry Hagman and Susan Ansbach.
Sounds hot.
Yep. Saturday on ABC was Don't Go to Sleep from 1982, starring Dennis Weaver, Valerie Harper, and Ruth Gordon.
Sounds really hot.
Bunch of from repeats to remakes. We're going to talk about Invaders from Mars, playing in 1,212 theaters.
They arrived without warning. They hid where no one would look.
Are you okay, Dad?
Everything's fine now.
They're after the one person on Earth who knows who they are.
David Gardner!
And what they've become. Invaders from Mars rated PG. Invaders from Mars starts Friday at a theater near you.
Directed by Tobe Hooper. Pretty sure. Written by Dan O'Bannon. Alien, guy who wrote Alien, did Return of the Living Dead movies. And Don Jacoby, who also wrote Life Force, The Philadelphia Experiment, Arachnophobia, Double Team, John Carpenter's Vampires, and Evolution. But you know what he also wrote? Death Wish 3, the video game.
Yeah, well, pretty
not the movie. I looked to see if he had any credit on the movie. No, just Death Wish 3.
Yeah, as we all know, that's where they really branched off from each other.
Wait, hold on there. There's a Death Wish 3 video game?
Yeah.
Scott, keep up.
Hold on a second here.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think they're remaking it.
You're not going to play it while we're doing this. Jesus, Scott.
He's got his emulator.
Speak for yourself. Hold on a second. Yes, YouTube log play. Save this for later.
You don't get to control the rape scene in it, Scott.
I thought I'd urge you to get out of this town. I'm not getting out of this town until all the scum is gone. You go with God then, my friend.
In this one, I now have a stepdaughter because my daughter had been through enough and is dead now. Okay. Also a writer on this, David Lippman, who is the second AD on Breakin' 2, a co-executive producer of Shrek 1 and 2, and then 2009 Teens Serenity, starring Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway. Also credited here as a writer, David Womark, a second unit director of Ninja 3, The Domination. So he has street cred for life from me. He was also the first AD on Breakin' 2, Critters 2, Loaded Weapon 1, Ang Lee's Hulk, and a producer on Life of Pi, Stardust, and G.I. Joe Rise of the Cobra. This is based on a screenplay by Richard Blake and stars Karen Black, Hunter Carson, Timothy Bottoms, Lorraine Newman, James Karen, Bud Cort, and Louise Fletcher. A boy tries to stop aliens who have taken over his town and are attempting to brainwash its inhabitants. Special effects here are from Stan Winston. He was doing this and Aliens at the same time. The score is by David Storrs and Christopher Young. Storrs, who not much, but Young's the Hellraiser guy and legendary guy in the world of horror. Lots of cred. You know who he is. And this movie was shot by Daniel Pearl. He of 2 Texas Chainsaws. Very notable cinematographer. You probably know him. This movie, no controversy in this one, as it shows a space shuttle exploding at its liftoff. No controversy here, but Spacecamp, we're gonna go to town on. This is one of the 3 films. So Tobe Hooper signed a 3-picture deal with Canon Films, and we're gonna talk about 2 of them in this summer. The first, this is the second of them to be released. The first was Life Force, released the previous year, which if you can watch the international cut, please do. It is a fucking rad movie, and this movie thinks so because they actually watch that movie in this movie, which I thought was neat. So, I believe
me,
Aaron. Let's talk. Invaders from Mars.
So this is one I hadn't seen. I've been wanting to for the longest time, and I've seen the original Invaders of Mars, which I quite like. Some good sound effect stuff in that one in particular. This is definitely my least favorite of the Tobe Hooper trilogy of the Canon films he did. I really like Life Force quite a bit, and we'll talk about TCM2, Secret of the Hoppers, when we get to it. But yeah, I don't dislike this movie. It's more, I feel like Hooper is very in love with this material and does too much showing off, if that makes any sense, where his craft is very good when it comes to kind of building suspense and kind of layering in the things that should be paying off in interesting ways. And obviously this isn't a horror movie. It's a sci-fi movie, so it's not reliant on like scaring you or terrifying you or what have you necessarily. But I did find it far more intriguing when we were building up to like what's going on with people. Why do they have these scars in the back of their necks? Is this kid just paranoid for no reason? Like, what's that going to build to? And then we eventually do get the reveals, which allow for a lot of like elaborate production design and things that work pretty well within the realms of a canon budget. And you throw in Louise Fisher on top of that, it's like, well, geez, you can't get more evil than this. And so I'm like, I want to go along with this more, but it feels like the showiness of those things, while impressive in terms of the production design and art direction and what have you, didn't do a lot for me as far as like maintaining a certain level of tension or stakes. Like I get like this is bad and we want to stop this thing, but something about like how it chose to reveal and the more I kind of stick around with that stuff, like I it wasn't bringing me to the place I think the movie wants me to be at as far as like feeling how inevitable things could be or what the drama of the situation is because I'm more just like both admiring the stuff on display, but also like thinking this looks kind of corny. And perhaps that's his intention to a point, but given that it felt like a detraction from a film I was otherwise enjoying quite a bit, ultimately I'm not against the film. I think it's okay. I just didn't love it. So yeah, that's where I am with Invaders of Mars.
Scott?
I pretty much agree. I'm a little more positive just by default, but this is not going to be this season's House of Cards. And yeah, I was pleasant. Weirdly enough, I had never heard of this film.
Oh,
even though watching it, I was like, how is this not a cult favorite among people around my age, give or take? Because I mean, it is a kid targeted science fiction film with, I would argue, a lot of fair play horror elements. And the effects are pretty damn good. And to the point that, if you are an unaware 7-year-old, 8-year-old watching this, especially in a theater, it might very well scare the shit out of you. And I mean it as a compliment. I agree with you that the film very much lingers on the production value, including the effects, to the point where it drags. Because and not to bring everything around back to Star Wars, but I remember when the first Star Wars came out, a lot of the huzzas were the fact that it was this giant science fiction adventure film with all of these effects and this production design, but yet it didn't linger on them. It treated them like, well, this is normal to them. So
well, yeah, like the Mos Eisley bar is a great example of that. As far as like, there's a wild amount of creatures in here, and we're just getting shots of them, and then we move the fuck on.
Yeah,
right. It's more of a I'm looking around, and here we are. Okay.
Yeah. Well, this one, it's like, this is what you came to see, or this is what's going to make the movie stand out, and we're going to make sure you notice. And yeah, I mean, that being said, unto itself, it's a solid, little long, but again, that's partially because it lingers on the alien stuff. I do like the reasons that they are choosing to invade. That's actually kind of compelling. And it does feel like the kind of movie that might have been, had it been more popular, been more sort of celebrated after the fact as sort of a gateway horror picture for the PG set. And in that sense, I think it's very effective. It certainly builds sympathy and empathy for this young child who knows that everything is going to hell, but nobody will believe him until it's too late. And obviously that's a tried and true trope. And I even think, without being obnoxious about it, there is a certain amount of They Lived style mid-'80s social commentary. That one of the first signs that something's really wrong is that the husband makes his wife do the dishes. Or whichever chore. I think it was the dishes. So it's like, wait a minute, he's reversing the traditional gender roles. Something's weird here. And again, that's not a blazingly new idea, but it works. But yeah, in a vacuum, it's a solid, entertaining, interesting Tobe Hooper 3-star sci-fi horror movie for kids with terrific production design when it needs it. But yes, I think the setup is more compelling than what follows, because the setup is scary. And then when we see what the threat is, it's compelling, but it sort of undercuts its own effectiveness by, as you said, showing off. But whatever, it's worth watching once. I'm glad I saw it. I'm kind of shocked that I had never heard about it before then.
Yeah,
Scott, I mean, the reason you didn't know about it is because Life Force has boobs, and this one
Yeah.
doesn't. So, I mean,
Right.
not even on your radar. I understand.
I really
Fair
like
enough.
this Tobe Hooper 3-picture run here because this is probably his last good stuff that comes out of this, almost. I mean, in terms of just
It's
general,
his most notable hurrah.
yeah, general notable thing. I mean, there's interesting stuff after, but in terms of like just general people knowing, like you guys said, like this movie, like the money is on the screen. Whatever you paid for a ticket, you're getting double because like this thing really shows off. Um, it sets and stuff, and it's really like so Winston's working on this and Aliens at the same time, and you can see where his mind's at with things that are similar, but he's also going very much, if Aliens is going that way, he's going this way with this one. But and in the same regard, when they remake Invasion of the Body Snatchers in the 70s, they're going this way, and this one decides I'm going to go this way with Invaders from Mars because they're very similar ideas. And I also think this is Tobe Hooper making a Joe Dante movie. Like, doesn't it feel like?
Yes,
it's got that.
Like,
it's got like a pop art comic booky thing going for it as well. I think
because it's got
Joe Dante because it's not quite. It's like Cannon trying to do Amblin to an extent.
Yeah, Cannon try to do with like a Dante touch of stuff, but it's kind of like it feels like it's trying to be a little darker, but it can't or something at times. There's a really interesting dynamic of this kid having to trust in his teacher, which is actually his mom in real life, but because it's Karen Black's son, I believe.
Which I like that chemistry actually.
That chemistry, it's fun to see.
Makes sense, but still, I did like that interaction.
It's fun to see Lorraine Newman being the mom here too. She's getting and she does her Conehead's voice at one point. But yeah, this movie its best quality is awing at the sets and creature design and practical effects and stuff, but it also that wears off quickly too. And then like the big brain thing is kind of like, okay,
yeah,
it's not as. It needs to be gross or something. It needs to be
like
gross
or like more gonzo. Like that's like Life Force is not too dissimilar from this, but it's a fucking bug nuts movie. Like it's crazy.
Life Force goes
it's about,
for it.
Space vampires. And
this just looks like you told like a 3D printer to make Krang based off the animation. Like and it's like too clean and like it needs to be gross or vile or something. Because like even these like lighthearted PG kids movies have dark stuff that you fear. With them. We'll talk about Labyrinth later on, but that does well in this regard. The stuff like Neverending Story also does that stuff very well. Gremlins, yeah. To go back to Dante, but this movie is fun to watch. Like I've seen this a few times now because I never saw it until Scream Factory put it out back when I was early covering Blu-rays and stuff, and it's been re-released multiple times. I'm not sure if it's come to 4K yet, but it's fascinating. It's the weakest thing in the Tobe Hooper run, but it's not bad. It's just third place. It's definitely not touching Poltergeist or Texas Chainsaw Massacre in terms of the enjoyment of his films, but this one it's a solid run. It's a kid's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and yeah, like Scott, that's an interesting point. Gateway horror. I don't know if it could keep a modern kid's attention to it well, but because it does take a while to get going a bit. It's not like it's ever like just being pedestrian, but some of it takes a bit, and then the oogling at the sets. But I'm a sucker for cavern sets and like matte paintings and stuff, and this movie does deliver in those regards. But this is a fun watch, fun return to. Definitely, if you haven't seen it, it's something to check out. Harmless, if you got the time, and this is available in plenty of places, I believe. But yeah, I do enjoy Invaders from Mars. Harmless little remake. I've never seen the original Invaders from Mars either. Have you, Aaron?
Yeah, is it? I got to review it. I think I have it right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I said at the beginning, I've seen the original. I like it quite a bit.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Similar to like War of the Worlds, like yes, they had like effects they could work with or whatnot, but the sound design's just really cool on
Mhm.
the old 50s sci-fi movies. Between like, obviously like we have a theremin, ooh, but also the sound effects and lasers and just like the things they had to do to like get you excited for a black and white and Warlords of
Mm.
Color. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's the production value is pretty interesting when you have nothing to work with. And this is a movie that has everything to work with. And it's it's certainly trying its hardest. I don't fault it for
Right.
that. I just wish it like the execution like
Yeah,
mattered
yeah.
a little bit more. But
Maybe another. Well, this isn't that long of a movie. I'm like, maybe a tighter edit does it, but
it could be tighter, honestly.
tighter,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe a 75-minute movie, something like that. But yeah, it's a fun movie. It's got two good ones in here this week so far. Will we have? Will we bat higher than 500? There it is. There we go. Very cool. So let's move on to the Casey Kasem American Top 40 and look at the top 10 from it.
American Top 40.
On American Top 40, I'm Casey Kasem.
Hits from coast to coast.
The countdown continues on our way to number 1.
We have a new number 1 this week, guys. Starting at number 10, though, A Different Corner by George Michael. Number 9, There'll Be Sad Songs by Billy Ocean. Number 8, Crush on You by the Jets. Staying at number 7, Something About You by Level 42. Number 6, dropping 2 spots, If You Leave by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. Number 5, All I Need Is a Miracle by Mike and the Mechanics. Number 4, I Can't Wait by New Shoes. Number 3, dropping from number 1 2 spots, Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. And number 2, On My Own, Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald. And that means number 1 this week is Live to Tell by Madonna. Very cool.
Okay.
It's one of her dark, deep, serious songs. Ba-da-boom, ba-da-boom. I do love Live to Tell. It's a good one. Any 80s Madonna is like just gonna be, it's pretty good stuff.
There's a lot of good 90s Madonna too.
There is good 90s. It's a different era, but yeah, no, Madonna is someone who is transformed and made through decades and stuff, and it's
like I have a different, just based on age, like I feel like I have a different relationship with Madonna compared to others, and I'm sitting here being like, Beautiful Stranger is one of her best songs.
Oh no, Beautiful Stranger is great.
God, yes.
Yes, that song rocks. Yeah.
I mean, and I make this joke a lot, mea culpa, but like I love the fact that Madonna dropped a 5-star Austin Powers song, but completely fucked up the actual James Bond.
Yeah, the
song.
actual Bond song's awful.
Yeah. I mean, one or the other would be amusing, but if she did like both, is like, whatever.
I mean, I love when like that song she did in Frozen or whatever, that one. That was that was good shit. That was real different, and like she's managed to.
She got new worldy.
Continually set trends, ride trends, like just good. And I think we're probably in the the twilight of her, but she went 5 decades of just straight up relevancy. Like
she'll like do a collab with like Gaga at some point or something amazing. We'll be like, oh, she's back.
She's back. So very cool.
Pod
Very
form.
Cool. Speaking of being back, Aaron.
Oh, fuck.
Who's back?
Aaron, God damn it.
I'll be.
It's time for Raw Deal, playing in 1,731 theaters. Still not as many as Cobra.
Be warned. Be ready. Beware. Schwarzenegger got a raw deal, and now he means business.
This must be what they mean by poetic justice.
Raw Deal. Rated R. Starts Friday, June 6th at theaters everywhere.
Directed by John Irvin, who did the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy TV series, Ghost Story, and Hamburger Hill. Written by Gary DeVore, he writes Running Scared, which we will talk about this summer, and Norman Wexler, who Joe, Serpico, Saturday Night Fever, and Staying Alive, based on a story by Luciano Vincenzoni and Sergio Donati, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Catherine Harold, Sam Wanamaker, Paul Shinar, Robert Davi, Ed Lauder, and Darren McGavin. A former FBI agent turned small-town sheriff agrees to help the FBI chief infiltrate the Chicago Mafia when the FBI chief's son is killed by them. This is composed by Chris Boardman, who does Payback, the Mel Gibson movie, and Bordello of Blood.
Okay,
then,
Cha-Cha.
yes, cinematographer was Alex Thompson. He did Dr. Phibes Rises Again before this, Excalibur, The Keep, Legend, and he shoots
Legends can be now and forever. Okay, go ahead.
He shoots Labyrinth, Alien 3, Cliffhanger, and Executive Decision, most people's favorite Seagal movie. And the original titles of this movie were Let's Make a Deal, Triple Identity was another one, and then they just said Raw Deal sounds more like an action movie, so that's what you're using.
I mean, Let's Make a Deal is terrible. And was the TV show on that? Yeah, of course it was.
Yes, very much so.
Never mind.
All right, so Scott, let's get into the Raw Deal.
I have seen this one periodically over the years.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine in that it's obviously on that list of sort of lower tier, smaller scale Arnold Schwarzenegger action adventure pictures. You know, between when he quote unquote broke out in Conan and the Terminator, and then when he basically went supernova. Ironically, I would argue starting with Twins, which was a comedy, but I digress. It's better than The Running Man. I mean, the original, which is, yeah.
You sure about that?
Arnold agrees.
Do you want me to edit this out?
I think it's very slight. It doesn't deliver much more than what is advertised, but I think it does the job in a meat and potatoes kind of way. I certainly found it more coherent and competent, if only because it wasn't cut to ribbons, than Cobra. Obviously, Cobra is a trashier, more over-the-top, fantastical good time. This is more just, whatever. And it sort of feels like, to me, the personification of just an Arnold movie, when just an Arnold movie was something like this. And even to a certain extent, and yes, Commando is a better movie, obviously. But up until the last 15 minutes of Commando, it's basically this in terms of scale and scope and ambition. It's just justifiably everybody remembers the last, the action finale of Commando. But Arnold is fine on a curve because, again, he wasn't yet working with people other than Cameron. People like Verhoeven or Reitman that could okay, we're going to make you act, motherfucker. Even though this was very much his attempt to play somebody that was less surface level in terms of he wears nice clothes. He's considered, he sort of wines and dines people. And obviously his character is wearing a mask through much of the much of the movie, really. I don't want to oversell it, but I think it's if I argue that it's underrated, which I'm not even willing to go there necessarily, it's a 2.5-star movie that I think sometimes gets tagged as a 1-star movie. I do like it more than Red Heat, although I have not watched Red Heat in a very long time, so maybe that's on me. But as far as this post-Terminator, I guess, Total Recall, obviously you have Predator, which is sort of a couple steps above. But other than that, this is pretty good for that kind of Arnold movie. And it's just an okay, watch it for pleasure while you're doing something else, 80s meat and potatoes action movie. And I think it's pretty competent. It gets the job done. It doesn't feel ripped to shreds and stitched together in the editing room. It's fine.
Gotcha. Pretty good for that kind of Arnold movie. Scott Mendelson. All right, Aaron.
I hadn't seen this one before. It was one that it's it feels like it's not lost, but it feels like it's that kind of lesser tier Arnold zone where I'm what am I getting into if I watch this? And I'm a big Arnold guy. I think I have a lot more appreciation for a lot of the films that he's done than I think Scott does. With that in mind, watching this, I was amused that he played a sheriff in this. And I'm like, oh, so it's not the first time he's played a 6 foot tall Austrian man who is the sheriff of a small town in the South.
Yeah.
So
Without the meta criticism or the meta commentary that makes Last
it's
Stand so
just
poignant.
now it's just a boring thing for him to be doing
Yeah.
because he lost his other job as opposed to just being like I have some other things going on that shade this character more. Um, but I was amused that there's like a big opening car chase that was 10 times everything I saw in that fucking truck movie from what Thunder Road or whatever.
Thunder Road.
I was like, this is how you make this look good.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, now this is a car
Actually
chase.
edit
Like,
it in a way
yeah,
that's
there's good editing, there's weight. It
Yeah.
feels effective, it's fun, and it's just like, and that's just that's literally the opening credits. That's like I was so impressed. I didn't know what I was expecting for this movie because I hadn't seen it before. I didn't know what the plot was. So like learning that it was like, oh, this 6 foot tall Austrian oak is going to go undercover with the Italian mob and expect to not stick out like a sore thumb when things start going wrong in the business. Like, all right. I was amused. Like, it has Robert Davi, who, as we all know, we approve of his choices now as a person over being an actor. He, and we all like. I assume his records will be on the theme for most of the show this year,
Right.
Because he does a lot of Italian singing. He has a great voice. He's heard in the Goonies. But here's what I'll say. I do think this is a great learning period for Arnold because why I think Red Heat and Commando and Running Man and like Predator, he's already in the zone of this Predator study that's top tier. But like what I think he gains out of this movie is a director that like knows actors. That's not saying that the acting's amazing in this movie or the story is a reflection of how great the direction is, but I do think it's well, obviously Cameron harnesses something with Arnold that's beyond like his ability as a performer when it comes to like speaking dialogue and more of just like how do I use this man's body to literally embody a force of nature that you just can't deal with and ride on that with his natural charisma. I think this movie actually teaches like it gives Arnold a chance to like learn how to be with other scene partners who are good character actors. Darren McGavin, for example. Darren McGavin, right? For example, he has a really good scene where he says they killed my son and he like feels legit sad about it and Arnold's there listening to him. And I think in like an earlier if it was Hercules in New York era Arnold, I don't think that scene would play nearly as well. Even though he's not even talking, he's just kind of listening to his friend. But I think that because of the direction here, it's a lot of this movie is giving Arnold a chance to like learn how to play a character. He's already mastering his charisma and like his on-screen presence. That's like a separate thing. But I think this is a kind of a stepping stone movie for him to be a better force in a movie like Red Heat, where it capitalizes on him like he's playing Russian, and it's like it's its own thing. It's not a great movie either. It's about the same as this, but I mean, I think Arnold feels more comfortable being on screen with roles that require him to do more than just be a presence. And I think that becomes especially the case when you get to those big memorable ones, when you get to Commando, when you get to Running Man, where regardless of how good the story is or whatever, you remember the things Arnold's doing in that movie, not just because he's shouting out one-liners, but because he has a better understanding of how to control himself as a performer. And I think this is a good start to that. Otherwise, the movie's kind of nothing. Like the fact that Arnold's in it's like its only real novelty, because otherwise it's just a guy who goes undercover and eventually shoots people. That's it. There's no real layers to the undercoverness. It's not like Arnold gets like too close to a subject and like has to really decide between if I want to stay undercover or not. It's not the fucking Departed. Like it's just him going into scenario and shooting his way out of most of it. The action is fine. Honestly, that car chase is probably the coolest thing in the movie. Like, because at least it like has some like fun with what it's doing. Otherwise, it's just shootouts that are, well staged well enough because it's shootouts, but like you don't hear about this director being, a guy that goes on to make other great action movies. It's just like this. So, yeah, it's like 2.5, 3, like the generous. Like it's not,
Mm-hmm.
it's not bad. It's a little misogynist, a little. It's quite misogynist.
Right.
Although I do like the whole scene
It
of
was a
like his
different
drunk.
time, Aaron. It was a
I
different.
like
No,
the
I'm
whole
kidding.
scene because I like the notion that Arnold is like this former FBI agent, which in itself I want to see more of that. But
Yes.
he's a former FBI agent who's now a small town sheriff, and his wife is so bored that she just gets drunk and makes chocolate cake and like throws it at him.
Oh, yeah.
That's a sequence I could have watched that for like a long time because it was really entertaining.
Right.
Like she's just like smearing frosting all over this cake. Then she throws the entire cake at him. Then she has another cake.
That being said, and I don't know if this is a pattern or means anything beyond itself,
No.
but I saw this after I saw True Lies, just because, again, this wasn't at the top of my must-see Arnold list.
Uh-huh.
But I do think it's interesting that you have films that are aimed at macho men, blah, 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 where the potential dissolution of a marriage or relationship is basically blamed on the guy. It's like, okay, she is maybe overreacting, but I need to do better. And at the end of the movie, he does XYZ to do the work. So it's basically not, it's not basically pointing her as this, this harpy bitch that can't be tamed, blah, blah, blah.
Not raw deal.
That's the intelligence of Arnold. He's always been a savvy person when it comes to choosing these stories. Whether or not they get executed well, that's a different story. But like, he's not dumb. Like he's incredibly smart when it comes to all the choices he's made over the years. Regardless, morality or whatever aside, like there's a lot of things he's done over his career that reflect something that suggests he is reading the stuff he's looking at and saying yes for a reason.
Yeah.
Does that also mean he pranks Stallone and does things to fuck up his career? Which is kind of funny to talk about since we talked about how much Stallone was like literally a force in the world, and this is still Arnold coming up. It's kind of interesting to think about that way, right? That like Stallone is like the top of the world, and Arnold's gonna be the top of the world as Stallone kind of goes down at the same time. But yeah, and I mean, it's not like Arnold's not good before this because he has like Stay Hungry and what's the Jeff Bridges movie? Is that Stay Hungry? No, it's the other one. Because he got like a Golden Globe nomination for that. Like he clearly and that it's writing. It's
just for the record, Commando was a year before this.
Commando was before, yeah.
It was Stay Hungry.
85. Yeah, Upping Iron is the documentary. Stay Hungry, I think, is a Jeff Bridges one. Commando's
76. 76 is Stay Hungry.
Oh fuck, yeah.
Fair, yeah, but. What I'm saying is, like he knows how to control his charisma, and he knows like what to look for in like scripts. Obviously, when you get things like Conan or whatever that are catering to a certain side of Arnold, that's its own thing. But like it is, even Commando, if it's before that, that makes sense too because it's still him. Like that's him owning his charisma a lot more than like doing it. It's just that's a simple save your daughter plotline.
Yeah.
But like the things that were required of him rely on him using his physical presence again or what have you, but he still has there's a lot of just the one-liners are way better in Commando, like for sure. You talk about the final act. I think there's a lot of stuff throughout Commando that's really
it's a fun movie. Again, it's better than this, but in terms of scale and scope and what have you, it is a street level Arnold Schwarzenegger versus bad guys movie until it goes full Rambo in the end. Although it might have been before Rambo. I don't know the exact, but you get the idea.
But I'll end on this, then Brandon, you go. I will say, like, I do think the roles after Raw Deal, because I don't want to say super complex, but I think they do have more meat on the bones, because he was able to kind of do more acting in this movie, or at least acting exercises. Regardless of how good you think some of those movies are, I do think he levels up in a sense as far as those choices going forward.
Yeah, this one I had seen before, like. It was one that I didn't watch when it came out or anything, and I think Raw Deal's biggest thing is everybody knows the image of Arnold on the poster for Raw Deal, but I don't think they attach it to a movie or anything. And I remember watching it thinking it was lackluster or whatever, not the greatest thing, because I bought it on Blu-ray. I was just picking up stuff, and it was a UK Blu-ray, and it was in the 2010s, but
that's why I have Red Heat. It was like, Lionsgate, $5. All right,
I got Red Heat. I had Red Heat on Blu-ray for like $5, and then I got sent the 4K for a review copy, and I'm like, well, it's a Walter Hill movie. I can put with my Walter Hill stuff. But like revisiting it, I was a little bit more impressed with it in that way that like man, even movies that weren't A titles and stuff still looked better back in the day. Like there's
Yeah.
like I was impressed with the camera work on here, the editing, and it just felt bigger than it should have been. And this director is not anybody notable in terms of the action world or anything like. I mean, he gave us Taylor Soldier Spy, which is a TV miniseries, and then Hamburger Hill, which is a war film, um but this for a one-time deal, not bad. Like I thought there was some clever stuff. Like there's the scene where he basically uses his car like a horse jousting, but he has a gun and stuff through the windshield. But it plays Satisfaction. But I love the end where he like runs into the uh, demolition vehicle thing, but it like stops the music and stuff when he hits there. Um, and I think him and what's her name? Catherine Harold have some good fun stuff together. And this is, kind of him playing the nice, like, Arnold pretty much goes through his run, but with like a lot of sexless stuff going on with his movies. But this one, I mean, it's fine. Like I don't want to like Scott, I don't want to overdo it, but I was surprised coming back to it, enjoying more. I think Robert Davi's pretty solid in this one. He's an actor that
he conveys menace well.
He wouldn't have been cast if he didn't start in the 70s or 80s. Like just look at stuff. Like we've gone away from that type of a person. There was a big like rough looking Italian, might be Italian guy back in the 80s that got a lot of attention back then. But solid stuff. You could see he'd go on to lead the Maniac
Colombian?
Yeah, right. you could see the makings of a guy who would lead a Maniac Cop series for a couple films later on in this one. But no, there's I mean, the action's fun enough, good enough. It works. Like it's not a recommend or anything. If you're Arnold curious, yeah, I gotta see Raw Deal. But it's like Aaron pointed out, it's an interesting spot in Arnold's career where I don't think when he's making Raw Deal they know the effects of Commando yet, maybe not even Terminator to a full degree. So this is just kind of a film that was in there. I don't know how quickly he shot this after any of those, or maybe he shot it before, and it comes out later. Honestly. Yeah, like because it's at a point where it's like we don't really know what we think he's going to be this, but we don't really know what we have with Arnold yet. But they do the "I'll be back" in there, so that is there. But that could have been edited. It could have been added later in an edit or a voiceover ADR.
I mean, that does carry from Terminator well. Like that does become a popular thing.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, if they didn't already have it in the movie, and they're like, "Oh, we should Terminator," if they shot it close, I don't know.
Because we're in that era where that like becomes a having catchphrases and whatnot, and because those guys Cameron and Schwarzenegger both won't ever shut up about it as far as Cameron lording it over Schwarzenegger's like, I'm right. That's why I wrote it that way for a reason.
Right. So yeah, this one, and there's stuff that was serious back then, but plays campy fun now. That's fun. Like when he goes to the funeral and to kill, and there's Darren McGavin. He's like, whoa. Good laugh there. Good fun stuff. But it's crazy. Like. Yeah, him and his wife at the beginning, and nothing comes. Well, he fakes his death, which what comes of that later on. We don't need to know the consequences.
Says,
it's an 80
I'm
movie.
gonna call my wife and tell her I'm alive.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's
yeah.
Yeah, I think the stuff that works least in this is his covert undercover stuff that in the conversations.
I'm just glad I was really looking forward to seeing him try to do an Italian accent, though. I really would hope you to do that.
Oh, it's great. But yeah, it's
pizza pepperoni. Mamma mia.
But yeah, I'd say this is
in the realm. Cumberbatch can team up for that.
Yeah, this is the realm of generous 2.5 star, or solid 2.5 star, generous 3 if you're depending on the day. Like solid watch. Cable TV it's Raw Deal type movie. So but Scott
and Well, also watching it just so soon after Cobra, it's like, oh, here's a movie that wasn't cut to ribbons to get an R rating because it's
Right?
bloody as hell.
Yeah. This is also a good backdoor way to say, watch The Last Stand because it rocks.
There you go.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's generally a good movie.
That was a good birthday movie. I'm a January birthday, so I don't get the best releases all the time. But that was one of the quality ones that came out in that time. But
so yeah, and I like what Aaron said, where like, and I'm paraphrasing, he showed people he could act by playing a character who has to act in the movie.
Right.
So
there you go.
Anyway,
how did he act at the box office, Scott?
Not great.
Stallone versus Schwarzenegger.
Stallone wins this round. Top Gun was, yes, number one again with $8.2 million plus 19%, adding 474 theaters, finally cracking 1,500 screens in its fourth weekend of release. It would earn $43.2 million by the end of its 24th day. It did about 176 domestic, 370 worldwide, blah, blah, blah. Raw Deal, number two, $5.4 million in 1,731 theaters. It would eventually earn now this is on a 10 million budget, give or take. So it would earn just 16 million in North America. And there are no overseas grosses, though I'm guessing there were somewhere, because something Arnold has talked about is that he was sort of poking the studios about letting him promote overseas before that was the cool thing to do. But whatever. As you said, he's very smart. There's a reason he became an unusual success story. But anyway, Cobra's number three, earning $5 million, barely less than that, but in its third weekend, dropping 33%, still playing on 2,100 screens. It would have $35 million by the end of its third weekend. Poltergeist The Other Side, $4.2 million, minus 30%, for a $27 million 17-day total. Short Circuit jumped 5.5%. Probably because, spoilers, kids said, fuck My Little Pony. And with 3.2 million. 3.3 million, 1,300 theaters, 26.4 million after 31 days. And then Spacecamp opened at just $2.9 million, which even by 1986 standards is fucking terrible. 979 theaters. It would eventually leg out to a whopping $9.7 million in North America. On an, depending on who you ask, $18 to $25 million budget. So that's a film that even in the 80s made so much less than it cost that I will assume it made up for it in 40 years of video and HBO and all that jazz, but that's not a foregone conclusion. But whatever, life goes on. That is a film that I will argue got a raw deal.
Oh, Scott, look at that.
I'll be here all week. Tip your waitress. Invaders from Mars. Just $2 million in its opening weekend and 1,200 theaters, which again, more theaters than Spacecamp. Even though one is canon and the other is 20th Century Fox. I digress. $2 million in opening weekend. It would eventually earn just $4.9 million in North America. And again, overseas numbers are not tracked. Mea culpa if they're on somewhere else, on a reported budget of $7 million. But again, it made up for it in the long run. Let's see. Sweet Liberty in eighth place, 1.3 million, minus 22% in weekend four, for an $11.6 million 24-day total. Number 9 in its sixth weekend, JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, the semi-autobiographical Richard Pryor picture, $625,000 in 1,500 theaters, in 514 theaters, minus 34%, $17.3 million after 6 weekends in theaters. And number 10, conveniently enough, My Little Pony, the movie, earning $416,000 in 421 theaters. It would top out at just $6 million in North America.
That's is that leggy? Like,
yeah, it is actually.
Horses to have long legs.
This is true.
They also have long
ears,
tails.
I thought you were going to say penises.
Scott, Jesus Christ. I wasn't even hinting toward that.
That's a lie. Anyway, that is the end of the top 10. For what it's worth, Hannah and Her Sisters was in 11th place in its 18th weekend of release with $403,000 and a $33.5 million 18 weekend total. Sorry, what was that?
Michael Caine, king of the box office over here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yep.
None of this Jaws revenge bullshit yet.
Well, he had the added value of and her sisters. So
correct. Wait. Michael Caine plays Hannah? Oh, I need to rewatch that.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just because we talked about it, Jake Speed, 13th place, dropped 65% in its second weekend, which is fucking huge for 1986.
Jake
to be fair, it lost almost half of its screens. It was playing in just 481 screens in weekend 2 for a $1.6 million total. I imagine this is the last we'll talk about it, at least in this capacity.
Sorry, Jake Speed, that you won't be getting the sequel.
Paramount Warner Brothers announces Jake Speed remake.
Right.
You know what? They can hear you.
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell is Jake Speed.
Odessa Azeon stars as a misbelieving woman who hires a PI from a local newsstand.
Don't bring innocent bystanders into this.
Jared Harris is the
John
Hurt guy. Yep, John Hurt.
Now you're making something I want to see, you asshole.
Joining Jake Speed will be Josh Gad as his plucky sidekick.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Ding dong.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Go on.
Oh.
No, that's the end of that. It's I figure there's nothing else to discuss.
The sister will be played by Sydney Sweeney to get that Anyone But You reunion happening for the clicks. So Jake Speed coming to you soon. Jake Speed, Rise of the Adventure. Or Dawn, one of the two. Pick one.
The adventure starts again.
And the adventure starts again.
And
they'll have a cameo. Cameo by Channing Tatum as Remo Williams.
The shared universe. It's the start of a new cinematic universe. That's the other announcement.
Well, look, he's still just sitting there on a chair waiting for his adventure to begin.
Yes.
Because it's been 40 years.
That's
and
the post-credit
never
scene.
really began.
Is it time?
Okay.
No. Or
God damn it, you're talking me into this terrible idea.
Or he's sitting in a waiting room with Skeletor, and there's and they come in the adventure begins again for you, Skeletor. Oh, I told you I'd be back.
And then you have, I don't know his name, but whoever plays the bad guy in Young Sherlock Holmes, who, spoiler, sorry, is revealed in the end post credits as A, alive, and B, Moriarty.
All right. So anyway, that'll do it for this weekend of 1986. Till next time, where can people keep up with you, Aaron?
Everything I do can be found on my personal Substack page, codezeek.substack.com. I am the co-host of two other podcasts. One is called Out Now with Aaron and Abe, where my friend Abe and I discuss weekly movie releases with other fun film critics and film aficionados and play games and do commentaries and other fun stuff like that. I'm also the co-host of the award-winning podcast, Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla, where my fellow friend and film critic Terrence Johnson and I discuss the Godzilla films in chronological order. I am on all the socials at Aaron's PS4.
Yep. And folks, that was .com. Yes. All right, Scott.
I am a semi-regular contributor over at Puck News. I write, run, and maintain the Outside Scoop over at Substack. I do a weekly box office podcast called The Box Office Podcast with myself and a handful of younger, cooler, and or more culturally relevant box office pundits or film scholars as we discuss what happened the previous weekend at a theater near you. I'm all the socials at some variation of Scott Mendelson.
All right. And I'm on the socials at Brandon for KUHD. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for a visual experience of this series, as well as my 4K, Blu-ray, and DVDs and reviews and more. Next week, everyone has to go back to school as the Manhattan Project is due, except someone too young to die takes the day off. All this and more as the summer of 86 at 40 continues.
Oh, yeah.
Boom, boom.
Summer, summer, summer